Eastern Conference standings coming into the night. Top 7 get into the postseason. Everyone past the number 9 spot coming into the evening's proceedings are out of playoff contention. But Lou City have high expectations year in and year out. Not only do they want the number 1 overall seed in the East, they want the number 1 overall seed in the whole darn tourney. And this season, Devin, yet again, they've been good against playoff teams. Great against playoff teams.
Sean, you know that I'm a big eye test guy, and we know that Lou City's good, but can you be good or even great when it matters most? The answer is yes. 9-2-2 versus teams currently above the playoff line. That's best in the USL Championship. So it's been 901 FC, Birmingham, the Rowdies. They've found a way, both Eastern and Western Conference, to take them down. But historically, what is it going to look like for them this season? Well, guess what? It's going to be another record-breaking year, barring any catastrophe. They are on pace right now to actually push that ceiling higher. 60-plus points every single season prior. They're already sitting on 60, have the ability to go above the 70 mark, as high as 75. But how do you do that? You do that because of consistency. It's systematic success with guys like Tyler Gibson. If you look at, for me at least, the top 5 statistical categories from a possessional standpoint: passes per 90 minutes, the accuracy, forward, backwards, can you retain in your own half? Tyler Gibson is at least top 5 in every single one. That's why Danny Cruz, with all of the issues they've had around him, it's COVID, it's injuries, it's form, Tyler Gibson has remained the key piece within the midfield.
That player profile brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union. Let's look on the other side of things with the visitors tonight. Loudoun United, not in great form coming into the evening, but this is the time of the year where they tend to put a stamp on things.
They can turn heads. This team at the end of 2019 won 4 of 6 of their remaining games against teams above the playoff line. They narrowly missed it. There's a bigger picture for them. They are trying to promote from within, find guys to push through to the DC United program, and they've done that. 6 players so far have made the senior team this season. That's most in North America. But you're right. Not only are they head turners, they've actually pulled off some massive upsets in the past. These are the 6 that I pulled just because of what these teams were doing at that point in time. That New Mexico United team, a heavy favorite in the Western Conference last year. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they are perennially a team in the East that you want to look at. Lou City got the trend started, unfortunately for them, back in 2019. Notice 2 things. 4 of 6 of those games are at home, so can you do it on the road at Lynn Family? 43%. 9 of their 21 wins are against teams above the playoff line. Sean, I know managers right now that are in a playoff position that don't have that kind of number and success against teams like Louisville.
Well, it's the business end of the USL Championship season. This is where Lou City tends to shine, but Loudoun United tend to play the spoiler role just about perfectly this time of the year. It's a big one in the East, and the kickoff is coming up next.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
I'm mom, I'm a wife, and I'm busy like everybody else, so I don't have the time to go to Google and search a story. I love that the WDRB News app gives me notifications that I've signed up for, so I use that sort of as a news feed on my lock screen. I can see all the headlines of the day, and I know I can click on that headline, go right to the story without having to spend a lot of time searching. It really helps me stay informed in a very quick way.
When the Thompsons first bought their house, all they saw was their dream home. They didn't yet know that with a home equity line of credit from Commonwealth Credit Union, it would be their keys to epic cannonballs and the chance to see the world. As years went by, it allowed them to empower the next generation and make happily ever after come true. Which begs the question, what could your home be doing for you? Let's find out together. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
911, what's your emergency?
Fox Mondays are back.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to my son.
Remain calm! Elliot, stop talking!
No one can ever know the truth.
This season season premieres of 911, followed by The Cleaning Lady, this Monday on Fox.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle.
And we're back on the road again in the adventurous new Toyota RAV4. Now, we can tell you why RAV4 is the best-selling SUV.
But we'd rather show you.
Let's go.
First off, RAV4 is one of 14 different Toyotas available as an electrified vehicle.
At 40 mpg, it's got a driving range of 580 miles.
Saving you thousands in fuel costs over the next 5 years.
And every new RAV4 comes with 2-year no-cost maintenance included.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Back here in Louisville, Kentucky, getting you set for Loudoun and Lou City here on ESPN Plus as we jump right into the starting lineups for both of these two teams looking to make an impact in the latter stages of the season. Brought to you by Kraft House Pizza. This is Danny Cruz's starting 11.
The system succeeds because of consistency, and you're not going to get anything more consistent down the stretch than this lineup. Barring one change in the midfield, which would be the argument for Del Piccolo, this is the strongest lineup Lou City has to offer in their starting 11. It's the ability to stretch the game, maintain the tempo, be on the big field, and be great. Loudoun United and Ryan Martin, what can they bring? It's versatility within the ranks, players moving all over the field, back line, front line, to go find a result.
Off we go then at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Lou City in their home purples from head to toe control, going from right to left against Loudoun United in their road whites with the red trim. Nabil Ben Salah is our center official this evening. He awards Loudoun an early free kick. Lou City this season at Lynn Family Stadium, 13 games, 10 wins, just 1 defeat against Monterey Bay back in May. And then you look on the other side of things for Loudoun, just 2 road wins this season, but they've been at pretty good opposition, in particular August 31st at Memphis 901 FC. They're hoping to repeat the trick tonight against one of Memphis's rivals for the top seed in the East. As we said at the top, Loudoun know the art of the upset this late in the season. One of the best spoilers in the entire league the last few seasons under Ryan Martin. And they're hoping to throw a monkey wrench into the plans for Danny Cruz and Lou City, who have their eyes on San Antonio at the top of the USL Championship total table as far as the top seed overall for the USL Championship playoffs. Touch there for Tyler Freeman in the midfield for Loudoun United. Trying to thread the ball through. It falls for Enoch Mushagalusa. Mushagalusa stood up defensively by Carson Vom Steeg on this near side. Gets it back, however. All the way back to Amadou Dia, who resets. Let's take a look at tonight's weather report, brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Can't get much better than that. 84 degrees and sunny in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. 8-mile-per-hour winds as well. Not going to do much better than that for soccer weather. Goes all the way back to Kyle Morton, who's having another tremendous season in goal. It's like everywhere you look on this Lou City team, players are having some of, if not their best seasons in their careers. It's a giveaway there for Loudoun United, counter-attacking here with Brian Ownby, our Lou City. Good overlapping run into the penalty area, ball across the middle, it's in! Devastating counter-attacking football from Lou City. Enoch Mushagalusa is there to give the host the lead inside of 4 minutes. It's his 10th goal of the season. And the boys in purple are off and running.
It all starts with the pressure up top, though. It started with Wilson Harris, who had dropped down into the pocket. He helps force the turnover, and then you just go to work. Look how quickly you go from A to B to C. Brian Ownby trusts that Manny Perez is going to be there. He's got the distributional capability to cut this thing back across. And notice, even though Wilson Harris makes the recovery run to the near post, Mushagalusa does not close that off. Sits on the back line, waits kindly, puts it away gently. This man cannot be stopped over the past 5 games.
Tremendous transitional action from Lou City. And Perez ended up putting it on a plate for Enoch Mushagalusa. And we were just talking about how good Loudoun have been at pulling off spoiler, upset kind of games. Lou City having none of it inside the first 5 minutes. What a start.
Three goals and an assist in the last 5 games for Enoch Mushagalusa. It's another
Tremendous.
one of the young guys that they've brought through here, and it's really easy and understandable that we talk about guys like Sean Tosh, veterans that have come in from other teams like Kyle Morton. You know, the players that have been here for so long, the Ownby, the Del Piccolos, but when you start to integrate younger pieces and you don't miss a beat and continue their development, hats off. That's an organizational hazard waiting to explode. And yet, Lou City, much like the Points and their opportunity to progress through the Eastern Conference on the #1 overall and start some new history on their own right, have set a new standard for themselves. They don't need to reinvent. They're just adding layer after layer of greatness. And it shows up 5 minutes into the game.
That Mushagalusa goal presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. Well, Devin, we got a goal before we even got into the keys to the game. Brought to you by the Bobby Pinkston team at RE/MAX Premier Properties. Score the home of your dreams with the Pinkston team. Anything adjusting for Loudoun after going down by a goal to nil?
The good news is we got one of them right. First 20, last 20, right? So
right.
You want to come out, start quick, which they normally do, but I wanted them to finish, which they did.
Lou City in again. Ownby's ball across. It falls for an opportunity here for Gonzalez, weaving his way through on the edge of the penalty area. Loudoun player stays down. Diaz ball into the middle. Gonzalez sends it over the top and out.
So Lou City go and get their goal in the opening 20 minutes. They'll maintain that pressure. Can they bag another one? Great. And then you want the game to finish strong as well. But I still want to see the response from Ryan Martin's boys, because I'm not surprised that they've gone down. Plenty of team, whether at home or in this venue, have sat in the same situation. The question is can you fight fire with fire? Can you make your adjustments, push high tempo, push pressure? That's what this team is known for. Their DNA is to go nose to nose with you for a full 90 minutes. That's why they have had so many historical victories against quality teams.
Well, Ryan Martin's team has been good at times this season when they've been behind and been able to come back, but it's the fact that this one is on the road where they have struggled for nearly the entirety of the season. Mentioned the wins that they had. Memphis 901 was the big one. They've also gone and beaten Red Bulls 2. Of course, are out of the playoff picture on the road this season as well. And again, Lou City, so difficult to beat here. Just the one defeat against Monterey Bay some time ago on this home patch. That's why Danny Cruz's teams are always so difficult to keep up with in the East. Although Memphis and Tampa Bay are giving them a run for their money, it's why this game means a lot tonight. Chance to try to thread that through. Dia was there defensively for Lou City, along with Joshua Winder.
Excellent ball.
And there they go again on transitional play. Lou City. Ownby has Harris and Mushagalusa. In the end, it's defended by Nicky Downs and out for a corner.
It's a heck of a ball here. This diagonal that plays right through. You just rip the entire back line open for Loudoun United. It's the runs on the back end. They were great on the goal. Wilson Harris came to the near post. Mushagalusa, the back post run. Just watch the runs. They get a bit more clouded this time. Good little pivot by Sean Tosh. And as he stretches, the interior has some trouble here. Brian Ownby wants to go to the near post, but they're not on the same page. Wilson Harris had started to check to the backside, expected this ball into the air. When you get going in such a rapid succession, Sean, sometimes your own personal ambition gets the best of you. That's one of them.
Ball in from Gonzalez. Tosh, who's had a good goal-scoring season, nearly got his head to it. Mushagalusa keeps it in play. Lofts it back into the middle. Ownby will recycle it. Perez, who got the assist on the opening goal to Mushagalusa. Gonzalez thought he was fouled. It's a Loudoun throw. Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in the communities they serve since 1951. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. A lot of times in these games, sometimes they're called trap games, right? When you see a team that's out of the playoffs, you don't always get up for them. That's just speaking from sporting perspective in general. Lou City are off to the races, not falling for the trap so far. And with Memphis and Tampa Bay bearing down on them, you know how important this game is. The Rowdies are in Michigan tonight against Detroit City. That game has just kicked off as well. If you're looking at the full playoff picture, Vegas in trouble at Hartford, trailing by 2-0. Ownby on the attack again here for Lou City. Early ball looking for Wilson Harris. It's a little bit too far out in front of him. And Jalen Robinson settles things down for the visitors with 10 minutes gone. See that Lou City are in need of a win. 2 draws in a row, just 1 win in their last 5 when you look at their current form. But to be fair, it's been a part of a tough stretch that they've been through. 5 games in 15 days, 4 of them on the road, as Danny Cruz mentioned to us. It was a tough stretch. They had to deal with rotation in the squad and managing minutes. And Danny Cruz said there was a few things I would have liked to have changed if I could have done it again, but he was proud of the way his team handled the game at Highmark against Pittsburgh, getting a result in that game. Finished 0-0 against Bob Lilly's group.
Well, that's the bigger argument, is where they had to go, right? You had to go to Detroit, one of the most difficult grounds in the USL Championship. You got to deal with a surging Miami team that got the best of them. You know, looking back, Indy 11 in there as well. Looking back, you're going Detroit, Miami, Indy. Miami earlier this year was a foregone conclusion. I'm talking the first 2 months that they could bag 3 points. Indy was a stepping stone for everybody. And Detroit is just one of those teams that they're just hard to get a result against, no matter where they play, but especially at Keyworth. And you go 0 for, right? You win Detroit, but then you go 0 for a couple in a row. And the wins and the losses look a little bit different now because Indy is on their streak of 4 results from 4, including 3 wins against top-notch teams. But you got to find a way to persevere through, and they've done that. But they're still looking for overall form. They're searching for things that we haven't seen since really the early part of August. Hang around with us at halftime and we'll break that down a bit further. But Danny Cruz knows that, yeah, it's the #1 in the Eastern Conference. Yes, it's the #1 overall, but top form is truly the goal with a cup final at the end of it.
Harris in behind from Mushagalusa. Wilson Harris with 2 players on him, just couldn't keep the ball at his feet, and it's touched out for a goal kick. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Enoch Mushagalusa with his 10th goal of the campaign, along with 3 assists coming into the evening, has Lou City off and running, leading by a 0 against the always pesky Loudoun United.
I said to you coming in, Sean, when you talk about what the lineup was going to be for Ryan Martin, you know, their biggest asset is their versatility. So
yeah.
Diarra up top, ton of speed, watch out.
Morton has trouble with it here. Takes a big deflection and hangs up high enough in the air for Tosh to reestablish some order for Lou City. Right on cue.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of speed, but you can use him in the 9, on the right flank, on the left, really anywhere that you choose. Tyler Freeman, make a similar argument. Any of the midfielders, Kuda Pietro, Landry, Simonson, excuse me, you can move them. And then the back 4, outside of really Green, they can all play in different spots as well. Nicky Downs is a holding midfielder by trade. So throughout all of that, you get an opportunity to pick and choose exactly what matchups you want as the game goes on, not just within your starting 11.
Bone linking up with Mushagalusa, who's got great pace and strength. stays on it after a pretty good challenge from Cudi Pietro on the cover. Referee blows the whistle, gives it back to Loudoun United. He's going to be a handful as always, Enoch Mushagalusa. So tough to deal with. Goes all the way back to Luis Zamudio. He's having a good season for Loudoun. 85 saves coming into the night. That's second most in the league. Loudoun also has a single season franchise clean sheet record this season with 6 on the campaign. Winder all the way back to Morton as again Loudoun trying to make things difficult on the Lou City goalkeeper. Ball's flared forward, swept away by Robinson, and out for a Lou City throw as we take a look there at Loudoun head coach Ryan Martin. Always great to catch up with him before matches this season and just preach the way his guys have developed as a group this season, and talked about 6 guys getting those pro contracts, taking the next step forward. And you mentioned at the top, Devin, that's got to be, if not a record, close to it. And what a job he's done and continued to do for this group and this franchise.
The pedigree was there for him before he even arrived within the DC United organization. Yep. He was, a player at Ohio Wesleyan and played abroad for a little bit, bounced around much like myself. But when he came back to the States, an assistant coach, Ohio Wesleyan, he has an alma mater. For me, though, it really goes down to his time spent under 2 gentlemen. One is Jay Vidovich, who's a legend in the collegiate ranks, built the Wake Forest program, and now has the Pitt Panthers on the rise. That's a top 10 program every single season. And he started, people forget, he was the right-hand man for John Harkes that got the USL Championship squad FC Cincinnati going back in the day. He helped get everything for them, and so he knows how to take the best from young talent and make them better.
Gonzalez from the Fifth Third Bank free kick. Loudoun deal with it. Corbin Bone tried to win it back, but Loudoun have an opportunity to potentially break here. Diarra was looking for it. Freeman leads this counterattack, but the ball's going to be too far out in front, and Morton slides in before Jacob Green could get to it. Gonzalez, who nearly had an opportunity to score earlier, a few minutes after Mushagalusa put Lou City in front. Joshua Winder. Back to Sean Tosh, who is having a career year, especially scoring goals. He's got 8 of them this season. Hadn't scored more than 1 in his entire career before this season. Mushagalusa, by the way, goes inside. Referee waves away any penalty appeals from the fans or the players. Bone tries to keep it at this end. Diaz able to do so. Gonzalez holds it up. And the back heel, nobody there in purple to get on the end of it. And Loudoun clear it, but only out for a throw. Mushagalusa. Oh, nearly perfectly placed for Harris. Gibson, though, finds Gonzalez, who tried to find Harris. Just about cleared out of trouble, but Dia tries to recycle it. And in the end, wins it back, actually. Loudoun had a chance to clear that. Gonzalez into the middle. Ownby and Harris couldn't get ahead onto it and redirect it. Perez wins it back. And it's just outside the penalty area. It's a free kick for Lou City and a yellow card for the challenge as well on Freeman. And Loudoun having trouble just getting it out of their own 18-yard box at the moment.
The argument for keys to the game, Sean, we said first 20, last 20 for Louisville. They range true for the opposition as well, because it's just wave after wave of attack. The ball, you're right, almost sublime. Wanted Jorge Gonzalez to be selfish here, only because you see the backside of it, the goalkeeper starting to cheat back across. He saw Wilson Harris in his peripherals, but it's relentless. body after body, just high lines of pressure. You don't win the first one, you win the second, you win the third. Go find a way to be special in a 50-50. Manny Perez steps up, wins the third one. He does get taken down from behind, but it forces you into a poor decision. No matter what, for Loudoun United, you're in a lose-lose. You're giving up possession, you're knocking it long, you're pushing to the outside, you're moving away from a danger area, or you're making a mistake and taking a player down and gifting a really good opportunity to some well-accustomed ball strikers around the top of the 18.
West Banco sponsoring all of our replays this evening. And the brain trust over this set piece is good as any in the entire league, you could argue. Dia, Harris, Bone. Little conference over how they want to set this up. They roll into the path of Harris, who scores! Teamwork makes the dream work for Lou City. They had the talk over it. Bone rolls it perfectly into the path of Harris, who scores his team-leading 12th goal of the season. Dream start for Louisville City. They lead 2-0.
They hit you on so many different fronts as well. It's Wilson Harris within the box. It's Mushagalusa on back post run. Transitional moments with Brian Omby. Then comes the pressure. Manny Perez plays high, as does everybody else in a purple jersey tonight. It's a mistake. It's an opportunity. It is a gift to grab someone like Wilson Harris in the offseason, bring him in. Double digits once again. You know, the news that came out this week, Sean, about Niall McCabe and the injury and losing him for the rest of the season, that's a guy that a lot of those dead ball situations would fall on his shoulders. You needed somebody to step up in time of need, take the reins and say, no matter what, I can be the guy. Maybe it wasn't the greatest strike you'll ever see, but it certainly was impressive to double the lead.
Also bold of Corbin Bone to say to Amadou Dia, who's got 7 assists this season, I got this. Harris does the rest.
They scored 57 goals this season. Only 3 have come from dead ball situations. That number just needs to be better. In the modern game where so much comes from restarts, you get opportunities 18, 20, 25 yards out. You got to make them pay. Lou City does.
Goal presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. 2 goals in 20 minutes for Louisville City, as they are acing this test so far against Loudoun United.
Martin's tweaked a couple of players. Simonson's gone up to the lead post, try and find some pressure. They're not really chasing a ton. The problem is that right there. It's the same argument we saw in the first 5 minutes, where you're not putting enough and there's too much space.
Perez into the middle. It was great combination play between Perez and Ownby on that far side. Loudoun just about do enough to deal with it, as the boys in purple were queuing up. Landry sliding it through, trying to find Zoumana Diarra. In the end, Kyle Morton comes up with it. Kyle Morton tied for first in the league this season with 12 clean sheets. Lou City in totality, 14 clean sheets, also tied for first in the league this season, along with the bountiful amount of goals they've scored.
Think about that too. It's every single year they've had a guy. Usually that guy is Cameron Lancaster.
Yeah, just 2 goals this season.
And so almost every metric. So it's top of the East. It's the race for the #1 overall seed. They're chasing San Antonio down right now. It's 6 points, but there's the game in hand, and you know they can narrow that gap tonight as well. It's shutouts, goals against. They're not going to have a Golden Boot winner, but within that, you've had other players step up and give you a different look.
Perez to Ownby again, who goes down. It's a penalty. And things could go from bad to worse for Loudoun. Jacob Green tried to stop Ownby from cutting it back. Instead, he concedes a spot kick.
The argument is, Sean, is that everybody on the front line has stepped up and given you the goals that you need and want. I'll tell you, I get it in terms of the move. I'm not exactly sure how much contact is here.
Certainly from that angle, it's tough to tell where the contact may have been, but Ownby wasn't able to run back onto the ball. And Sean Tosh is going to step up and take the penalty. Just mentioned this earlier, 8 goals this season, hadn't scored more than 1 since joining the team back in 2015. Trying to make it a 9th and to give Lou City a commanding advantage. Sean Tosh for Louisville City. Slides it in. Was there ever any doubt? He tucks in his shirt for his 9th goal of the campaign. Lou City are running riot. They lead by 3-0.
So there's no Lancaster, there's no 20-plus goals, but you've got 12 from Wilson Harris, you've got 9 from Mushagalusa, Ownby on 8, and now 9 from Sean Tosh. Let's go back to the origin of the foul. The trailing leg is what gets you in trouble. How much contact is there actually? Referee says enough. Sean Tosh, only 1 penalty to his name coming in to the 2022 campaign. He's now bagged 5 consecutive, a perfect 6 for 6 in his career, 9 goals. And just like that, it has gone from bad to worse. Dream start at Lynn Family Stadium.
Mushagalusa, Harris, and Tosh are now the 3 leading goal scorers for Lou City this season, with Ownby just behind them, all contributing. What's been a borderline magical first 25 minutes for Lou City. Harris gives it away there. Loudoun trying to come back into this game in some way, shape, or form. Ball's floated nicely onto this near side. Landry into the middle. And on the return pass, Mushagalusa is on the cover. Back to Zamudio. It's a mountain to climb now for Loudoun, who are on the wrong end of a really strong performance from Lou City. They've been clinical, created so many chances. They've won the ball back high up the field yet again. They've done that many times already tonight. Loudoun are able to regain possession. Ball's played into the path of Landry. Tosh is there on the cover. Joshua Winder trying to keep that in play and concedes a throw instead of a corner. From Diarra. It's kept alive by Skake Simonson, but didn't have too much room to work with. Harris dispossessed. And just trying to find a moment to get a foothold back into this game after the onslaught from Lou City. And that won't help. Misplaced pass. Well, tonight's trivia is brought to you by Tony's Brakes and Alignment. Who was the last MLS-affiliated team to beat Lou City at home? That's what's in front of you, Devin, and everyone watching at home tonight.
So to be clear, I need a little hint. Is it at Lynn Family or just at home overall? Like, did it happen in this building or was it just a home game?
It happened in this building.
Oh, wow. Yeah, now I'm in trouble because I had a guess and it didn't happen here. So let me think.
Okay. I do have a couple of good factoids for you. Choices were Loudoun, Sporting KC 2, and Atlanta United 2. Those are your three options. And for everyone at home that's keeping score on this one. I can hear your brain turning, Devin, already. That ball's going to slide all the way through for Simonson, but offside flag was up, negating any further action. Don't miss your opportunity to cheer on the boys in purple at Lynn Family Stadium this season. Louisville City FC 2023 season tickets are on sale now at loucity.com/tickets. Lovely skill again from Brian Ownby. Wilson Harris in the middle. He's able to find Enoch Mushagalusa, who curls it over the top. More threatening play in transition from the hosts. And Mushagalusa had his eyes set on a brace.
Similar look, but different outcome. Remove, they can't hit the target, right? It's the same type of look, though. And previously, we've seen him in that overlapping role. On the opposite side of things, this is how they got their first goal because Manny Perez came high. There's the overlapping run from Brian Ownby. This time, you flip the role. Amadou Dia is in the overlapping run. It's the same sequence. It's just on the opposite side of the field. Different outcome, but that's the thing about them is they're so well versed in what they're trying to do. Yes, it's wash, rinse, repeat, but there are little tweaks within it that make it difficult for these Loudoun defenders to track.
Can't quite figure it out there in transition, Loudoun, although brief moment of hesitation there from Lou City as well. Tosh restores order. Gibson outlets it to Perez on the far side, who already has an assist this evening. Perez and Ownby have linked up really nicely. Ownby into the middle, it takes a deflection. Gonzalez couldn't redirect it on target. Again, this is where Loudoun have struggled trying to get it clear from the outskirts of the penalty area. It's a good run this time, though, from Tyler Freeman, trying to find Diarra. It's good cover from Amadou Dia, who then gives it back to Diarra. Freeman. This is Jeremy Garay. Loudoun have a little bit of an opportunity here to get some sustained possession. Stieg pressured by Enoch Mushagalusa. Lou City thought it went out of play. Play continues, however, and now it goes out of play.
This is the biggest thing that Ryan Martin talked to us about, and usually you hear from him is it's great that you've got a lot of talent, and we know that you can compete. But to be a professional, you got to do it week in and week out. You gave me 60 minutes, I need 80. You gave me 80, I need 90. You had a good game, I need a good week, so on and so forth. You got to find a way to continue to push that boundary, and that's the struggles that you deal with such a young group, and the ability is never going to be an issue for these young men. It's just a consistency factor, and that's a battle that he's going to fight no matter what. But I still go back to what we talked about in the Open. 6 players from their academy to Loudoun to DC United. No one in this country has done it better this year.
Simonson beaten to it by Morton, and just to piggyback off that, Devin, Ryan Martin mentioned to us there's been some guys this season, they've had performances 8, 9 out of 10, but then the next game it's 3, 4 out of 10. Says we want that consistently between 7 and 8 out of 10. That's how you're going to get to that next level and get a DC United call up.
And the difference is too is, let's assume that you don't continue the path to DC United. That doesn't mean you're a failure by any means. Look at Wilson Harris in Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City 2, now Lou City.
Yeah.
Just because you don't make that step doesn't mean you're not going to make that step ever. It just means maybe it's not the right path for you right now. But everybody else around you still has a keen eye. Wilson Harris is here for a reason. Cuda Pietro is here for a reason. You don't always have to give a 10, right? You're not going to get a Cameron Lancaster with 25 goals every single season, every single year, but some of the players around this league and within MLS and just the professional level, can you give me a 7.5, 8, right? I'll take the little glimpses of 10, that's great, but as long as you're not dropping off and giving me what you just mentioned, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, coaches are going to be okay with that because it just brings the overall average up within the group.
And Ryan Martin talked to us about the fact that guys can go on from us and go and play and succeed elsewhere if it doesn't work out with us, and that's happening quite a bit during his tenure. Dia trying to curl that in behind. Enoch Mushagalusa into the middle for Bone. Pass was cut out by Vomsteed, but it falls for Harris, who has Mushagalusa beside him, and the offside flag is up. City nearly in behind again. The flag denies them another opportunity to score. It's a foul and a free kick. Loudoun regained possession with 10 minutes left, plus a potential injury time in the first half. Baptist Health is the proud partner and exclusive provider of medical support and athletic training services to Louisville City FC and Racing Louisville. Visit baptisthealth.com/ortho to learn more. Goals from Mushagalusa, Harris, and Tosh. The latter of the three from the penalty spot, giving Lou City a 3-0 lead over Loudoun. It's been a tremendous first half from Danny Cruz's outfit. Mushagalusa keeps that in play. He's able to recycle it all the way back to Winder. Loudoun have had a couple of nibbles, but not many, if any, clear-cut chances so far.
Oh.
Wonderful touch there, initially from Jorge Gonzalez, but it just runs too far in front of him to his right. Seven assists this season for Amadou Dia. It's been tremendous for Lou City. It's the team lead in that category. Mushagalusa, the attack again. Little give and go with Ownby. Perez invited into the play. Back to Mushagalusa. Across the face, trying to find Corbin Bone. Out and do just about enough. But again, they give it right back. Gonzalez to Bone. Gibson out wide. Sent across, it's blocked on the attempt from Mushagalusa, out for a throw.
Well, there is tucked in, locked in. Sean Tosh, 9 goals this season, just set the single season record by a defender in the USL Championship. Previous mark 8. What else can he do? Danny Cruz had a few notes about it, didn't he? Just wants him to make sure that the responsibilities on the back line stay consistent, that his one-on-one situations, he's locking them down. He helps push the tempo going forward. I would say that for both himself, albeit 7+ minutes to go, and the rest of his compatriots on the field around him, this is the most complete performance we've seen within a half by Lou City in quite some time, regardless of opposition.
Out for a Lou City throw on the far side. First 2 goals came within 20 minutes of the whistle blowing. Tosh's penalty came 5 minutes after the second, off a free kick from Wilson Harris. And Loudoun trying to just play this out of the back, sent forward by Landry, too far out in front of Diarra. Well, Devin, I don't think we've given you enough time to think about the
I'm ready.
Trivia question. One more time. Who was the last MLS-affiliated team to beat Lou City at home? Loudoun, SKC 2, Atlanta United 2 are the options.
So, before I give you my answer for this, and my thought was the Monarchs in the 2019 final. It's obviously past that. I don't believe it's Loudoun, because that would have been prior to the final. That 3-0 victory was in 2019. So,
50-50 shot.
I'm going to go with... Oh, I'll say Sporting.
Sporting KC2 is your answer, Devin.
Yes. Just thinking about the battles that were in 2020. I feel like one of the ones in there must have popped up and done something. My brain is...
They were in the same group.
I struggle on a daily basis, yet alone with all these games, so...
Devin, you're correct.
Oh,
it
look
was
at that.
Sporting
Wow.
KC2
Was it
in
2020?
2020.
Wow.
July 29th.
Oh, from the
to be
depths of
exact.
darkness, he's risen up to do something right in life.
The winning goal scorer in a 2-1 win.
Mushagalusa.
Wilson
Oh,
Harris.
he had to be one of the two.
Yes.
How poetic in nature is that?
Yes. Yep, and Mushagalusa was on that team as well. On the attack here for Lou City. And it comes for Harris off the rebound. Zamudio with a double save to keep Lou City from adding on to the lead again, as the two former Sporting KC2 players on cue nearly score goals for their new clubs. One more little stat for you, Devin. On that game, you and I were the commentators on that 2-1 victory.
I'm having trouble remembering what plane I got on to fly back here this morning, yet alone what went on in 2020.
I had a feeling you wouldn't remember that, but that is the case. We were on the call.
You know what game I remember? And it's funny because it was a Sporting game as well. The game that sticks in my head the most from that 2020 COVID season was St. Louis and Sporting Kansas City 2. It was this crazy back and forth. If I'm not mistaken, it was either a 3-3 or a 4-3, but John Berner, the goalkeeper, came up off the back line, headed one right back across, had like the hockey assist to get, it was like the draw or the game winner. I can remember that game being wide open. You didn't have time to take a breath. It was awesome.
It was to get a draw. I think I was commentating on that game, and I think Fanuel Kavita, as Harris lifts that over the top,
right. That sounds right.
Scored that goal off the Berner header.
One of the issues that, and we'll get back to that game in a second, that this team, Loudoun United, have had today is it's a space problem. This ball that comes in behind, notice who rotates out there. That's Nicky Downs. I mentioned coming in. Good holding midfielder. He's versatile in his ways. Drop him onto the back line, yes. But as Vom Steeg and Jacob Green come higher, you're advancing your role so much trying to get back in and hold and maintain possession. You're also superseding the thought process of we still got to defend, right? And they're giving up way too much space in behind. So it's that chance there. It's the penalty. It's the opening goal. I go back to the movement by Mushagalusa where he knocks over the top. It's the exact same look. They're all just separated by about 8 to 10 minutes.
This is Loudoun in possession. Garay is able to get it to Vom Steeg for a moment. Nicky Downs.
3-2.
Yeah.
September 19th, 3-2 game. Wow. And the winner, you weren't far off. It was his running mate. Fanuel Kavita got the assist. Sam Fink had the goal.
Oh, I think we're thinking of two different games then.
Because I'm thinking of this game, though.
The Berner header, I think, was in a 1-1 draw, if I remember correctly.
Oh, then I'm lost.
You're right on the Fink header in a 3-2. I remember that game as well. That was a crazy season because so many teams played each other multiple times.
25 times.
It was nuts. Loudoun looked for a response here, and they've got it. Oh, they've been waiting for a moment to get a foothold into the game. Ted Cudi-Pietro gives them that moment. And Ryan Martin's Loudoun United have an interest. It's 3-1.
It's one of the more special players that Ryan Martin always talks about, and the opportunity to promote up. He got that chance early on this season. They pushed him to DC United. 3 separate managers in about a 5-week span. He's been tossed around, pushed around, but you got to look at the patience and look at his ability. This diagonal run is beautiful. If he continues it straight, he's going to put himself in an offside position. He recognizes that Winder, who's not only pinched over, he's come high to win the 50-50. Tosh has a lot of ground to cover. Doesn't go vertical, doesn't go horizontal, just skirts the limits there to bring one back.
It's actually Ted Pietro's first USL Championship goal this season. As he's bounced around so much. Could that be the spark that Loudoun United required to make this interesting? Just before halftime as well, to give them a little bit of momentum. Dia into the middle for Ownby. Lou City trying to extinguish that momentum. Pietro on the defensive work now for Loudoun. That's where they've struggled at times in this first half. As that ball rolls to Zamudio. Stoppage time is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Refs have added 1 minute at the end of the first half. 4 goals in the first half between these two.
I'll take it. Christmas has come early. So is a wrestling match.
Tyler Gibson pleading his case with Nabil Ben Salah, our center official. Just a free kick in the end, right in front of Ryan Martin and his coaching staff.
It's interesting looking at the overall stats for the two teams within it. Lou City, 8 shots, 5 of which have hit the target. Just 1 for 1 for Loudoun, 100% accuracy.
Perez picks it back off. Another lovely little give and go into the middle. And the sweeping effort from Corbin Bone is held by Zamudio. And that is how the first half ends here in Louisville, Kentucky. 4 goals in it. Lou City had a 3-0 lead. Loudoun have a bit of an interest, though, going in to halftime. And there's still a big 45 minutes to come.
They've still been very accurate. 63% of their shots have hit the frame. Their accuracy overall pushing the 90 percentile. And as you go, it's Harris, Mushagalusa, their expansion in play. This is the best we've seen Lou City in the first half. Now, there's going to be an asterisk next to it because of that 15-second letdown. That's really all it was to remove complete perfection for this team at home in the opening 45 minutes, vying for the #1 in the East and the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship.
So far, so good on the whole for Louisville City. Scored the first 3 in this first half, but Loudoun, after a little bit of a Lou City lapse, get one back, and it gives us an interesting second half in prospect here at Lynn Family Stadium. Lou City lead Loudoun by 3-1 at the halftime break.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
We've got exciting news.
Commonwealth Credit Union has been ranked best in-state credit union by Forbes magazine.
For the 4th time. It's true.
In fact, we're #1 on the list this year.
So, if you've never tried Commonwealth Credit Union before,
come see what you've been missing. Because here,
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 here, here,
here, we see you differently.
This is Todd. Todd makes sure Slugger Field is perfect for the Bats game day. The infield is touched up and bases are set, but weather can get in the way. So to ensure the crowd will be safe, they call Mark at WDRB for the official green light to play, making the right call and keeping you safe. WDRB Weather, the source.
will do everything on the field to make sure we win.
Anything less is a disappointment.
3 years since we last lifted a trophy, and that's far too many.
We're working every single day to bring home a championship.
We started off on the right foot, so now we just got to keep going.
Louisville City FC takes on Memphis 901 FC September 23rd at 8 on My 58. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
WDRB and WPKI are the broadcast home for Lou City FC Live. Tonight's game was presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
With the Kroger Plus card, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. You also earn fuel points on every purchase to save big at the pump. The Kroger Plus card. All you do is win big, big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. With the Kroger app, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you get in our stores. So start your cart today. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Halftime score is brought to you by ServPro, the official cleanup and restoration partner of Louisville City FC. The hosts leading Loudoun by 3-1. Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr back here with you at the half, and this is what the game means as far as Louisville City's prospects are for the postseason. Taking a look at the top 9 in the East, and Lou City wants to keep pace not only for that top spot in the conference, but they want to chase down San Antonio as well, Devin.
There's plenty of action going on tonight, and the most important one is what you just mentioned on the back end. It's San Antonio and New Mexico United, which are set to kick off 3 minutes from now. San Antonio, that one game in hand is oh so precious. They've been almost perfect at home, but New Mexico United, in a stark twist to what we've seen in previous years, they're actually better on the road, so maybe an upset in the making.
We'll see how that one plays out. Of course, Miami playing for a chance to clinch a playoff spot as well. It's 1-1 in that game with Atlanta United too. Of course, we were asking Danny Cruz this week about the last time that Lou City were playing at all guns blazing, and it was when they played Tampa Bay Rowdies at home. That record crowd that was at Lynn Family Stadium, and it was back on August 13th. They won 1-0. It could have been a lot more.
Think about that too, because so there's the 1-0 victory, right? But they beat Detroit at Detroit. That's a heck of a run. They beat Sacramento Republic just prior to the Open Cup final. Then they went on the road. You had the draw at Pittsburgh, the draw at Tulsa. Those are all good results. But I said to him, is it fair to say that that's the last time that you guys were at your finest hour? And he said, absolutely. So they're soul searching here a little bit. They've gotten results, but they're trying to find a way to make sure that they are in peak form when they hit playoffs. And can they do it to the tune of the #1 overall seed? The fight to the finish right now is between Lou City and San Antonio FC. All due respect to 901, who are breathing hot down the heels of Lou City, and the Rowdies are right there as well. The actual advantage rests with Lou City once again in the Eastern Conference. The game in hand, oh so important. But what we've seen historically, Sean, you get the points, you get in the clubhouse early, it puts the pressure on somebody else. Usually you think games in hand, I can go get them. I promise you, every single year we see it, it is difficult down the stretch when someone else is dangling that carrot for you to chase it down, especially when you look at the strength of schedule. Lou City right now is averaging 7.8. That's the ranking of the team that they're playing. 1 through 7 games remaining. Do the math. Thank you very much. San Antonio, they're at 5.7. They're averaging a team that's almost at a home playoff spot. Much more difficult for the Western Conference team down the stretch.
Certainly going to be interesting to see which of these two will snatch the top overall seed for the USL Championship playoffs. At the half, Lou City leading Loudoun here by 3-1. We'll take a break. We'll get to news and notes, scoreboard, and the upcoming schedule. All that and more from Louisville, Kentucky is coming up next.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
seat and their first of the season. And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
Time to get back out on the road again.
In a new electrified vehicle.
And Toyota's got more than anyone else.
Many of them built right here in the USA. Like this electrified Highlander hybrid that has a driving range over 600 miles and never has to stop to recharge.
It just happens automatically.
Saving you thousands versus the average new vehicle.
When you run the numbers, you can see why people love the Toyota Highlander.
And with every new Highlander, you get 2-year no-cost maintenance.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr back here with you. Lou City leading Loudoun at the halftime break by 3-1. Little bit of momentum for Ryan Martin's group just before the halftime began. We'll see if Lou City can hold out in the second half. Let's take a look around the league, starting with news and notes around the USL Championship. And obviously, it's a big thing when it comes to playoffs with the business end of the season. Devin, of course, 3 teams have a chance to clinch tonight around the entire league.
Look at the top who's in, and it's just the star for the USL Championship. This season is a mess, and I love it. I am here for it. There is so much parity between, especially in the Western Conference, the East. Although we've locked so much up, we have no clue, let's be fair, who's going to finish second or third or fourth. We do know, though, that the championship dates have been set, October 21st and the final November 13th. What time is that going to be? Anybody at home have an idea? I got to book a plane flight. I need to make some travel arrangements. I need some help here.
Got to help Devin out here, guys. We'll get back to that, I guess, in a second. Live scoreboard right now. Mentioned earlier, Miami, a chance to clinch tonight against Atlanta United 2. We're putting them through it at the moment. It's 1-1 in that game. Vegas really need that result against Hartford in the West. They trail 2-0.
How interesting, by the way, that Indy 11, although less points than Hartford Athletic. Took me a second to think about that. And lower in the rankings, they're still alive and well. Now, Detroit City hoping that changes because of their success at Keyworth against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. My mind still sits on the bottom left. San Antonio, New Mexico. It's not just the race for the number 1 overall. New Mexico only 1 win in their last 8. They're 1-6-1. They're sliding. They were assuring, in theory, for a top 4. All of a sudden, they're at 5. Possibility they could drop to even 6 or 7 in the next 2 weeks.
And of course, the Switchbacks with a win at RGV, who are still in it, by the way. Everyone's in it in the West. It would be a ticket punch for Brendan Burke's crew. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule on ESPN. Big one tomorrow on ESPN2, Sac Republic against the defending champions Orange County, who have to win out, basically, if they're going to have a chance.
That'll be it for us on linear television, Sac Republic and Orange County. Is it going to be only the second time in USL Championship history that we will see a Golden Boot winner not make the postseason? Milan Olowski, 20 goals to his name. Everybody chasing him. Sacramento Republic. I just talked about New Mexico United, who were at 2nd, 3rd, could drop down to 7th. Sacramento Republic on July 27th were in 7th. 1 point ahead of the 8th position. They now have an opportunity to jump up, not just into the top 4. They can finish as high as 2nd. What a turnaround for the Quails.
And Lou City, Memphis, September 23rd. Can't forget about that one as well. We'll take another break. We'll look at highlights. We'll look at stats. And we'll get you out to the second half kick between Lou City and Loudoun United on ESPN+.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
This new Toyota Tundra is amazing. It's rugged and capable.
Designed, engineered, and built right here in the USA.
And Tundra is more powerful and more fuel efficient.
The iForce Max hybrid powertrain delivers 437 horsepower.
And with the multi-terrain select, no matter what the conditions are, it automatically adjusts the engine throttle and traction.
While the crawl control modulates the throttle and brakes.
When we say you can go anywhere and do anything,
Tundra really means it.
Yeah.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to U of L Health Heart Hospital, an exciting chapter in the Jewish hospital story. If these walls could talk, you would hear stories of over 40 medical firsts. As the area's only heart hospital, we focus on comprehensive heart care, where academic research pioneers innovative treatments, and a world-class network of experts offers life-changing care. Here, your heart is in the right place.
When fire and water threaten your home, hand the cleanup over to the team that stays with you every step of the way in your journey back. 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Like it never even happened.
Let's jump into the first half highlights between Lou City and Loudoun United. And Devin, it didn't take the hosts very long to get on the score sheet through Enoch Mushagalusa.
They're notorious for getting out of the gate and really setting the tempo, and they did that. And a lot of it was on the right-hand flank, finding a way to isolate the matchups of Brian Ownby, Manny Perez. That's exactly what the combination was. Great little cutback across. They go up 1-0. Now let's change it up a little bit here. You don't have Niall McCabe. You don't have Cameron Lancaster. Paolo Del Piccolo on the bench. Who's going to step up? Sure, it's Wilson Harris at 22 years of age for his 12th of the season. Everybody knew that was going to be in the script. 2. Can we make it 3? Penalty, I guess. The movement makes sense, absolutely. They bagged 3. Loudoun United are able to grab 1 just before halftime, courtesy of Cuda Pietro, and that's where we stand.
Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr here with you. Loudoun got a little bit of a glimmer of hope at the end of the first half through Ted Cuda Pietro to try to get back into the game after it was a dominant first half, essentially from start to just before the very finish of it. As Danny Cruz's side continues to try to hold the advantage over the top seed in the East, they continue to push San Antonio for the top overall seed. There was 2 halftime changes for Ryan Martin's crew. Christian Fletcher came on, Abdul Zane on your screen there. Both coming on, and Jeremy Garay, Tyler Freeman, the latter of 2 on a yellow card. Both made way for the visitors, Loudoun United. As Perez slides that out of play. Substitutions are brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond.
This will be a bit of musical chairs, one would imagine, with Sane going to the outside left. That seems recently the idea. The inversion, cut in the right foot of his. You can also pinch Cuda Pietro to the other side. You can rotate really any of those players to the right-hand flank. I want to see where they use Fletcher, though, if they put him in the 9 spot or if they put him on the outside, work his way back in. I like him much better on the interior in the tight pockets of space.
Just as Lou City was getting ready to take that up the field, referee gives a foul and a free kick to Loudoun. Lou City going from left to right as the team switched sides for the second half. Brief score update for you. Miami has taken the lead through Kyle Murphy. They lead Atlanta United by 2 goals to 1. If that holds, they will clinch a playoff spot in the East. Hartford still leading as well over Las Vegas Lights. That would be a really tough result for the Lights to take. They have to keep getting positive results as well in that wild Western Conference playoff push.
The Tab Ramos era would continue on. That'd be 3 out of the last 4 for Hartford Athletic and their new manager.
They've played the role of spoiler pretty well since Tab Ramos took over.
Well, he's got back-to-back victories, but Ray Reid also had the win at Tulsa, which was a massive blow to FC Tulsa's playoff hopes, and then the draw on the road, back-to-back. I don't care about who it's against, because that was against Red Bull too, just the ability to turn it around. They, much like Indy, would like to forget the really first 60 to 70% of this season, much better on the latter portion.
was headed for, I should say headed backward from a Loudoun point of view. It'll be brought back for a free kick. Yeah, Tulsa had that 2-2 draw at home against Lou City, and then Hartford beat them 3-2 the game after, which really put a huge blow into their chances of getting to the playoffs and gave Detroit City nearly the boost to clinch it outright. It's not done yet, of course, but getting closer and closer to Detroit City also being able to have a chance to clinch a playoff spot in the East, and that would finish off the field. Keep an eye on San Antonio, New Mexico, RGV against Colorado Springs. That game's also kicked off. The Switchbacks have a chance to clinch a playoff spot as well tonight in the West. Perez to Bone. Ball threaded through. Mushagalusa and Harris both give chase. Zamudio slides it out of his own penalty area and concedes a throw. Both Mushagalusa and Harris on the score sheet, along with Sean Tosh. His 9th goal of the season, most ever by a defender in the league's history. And the other stat, Devin, that's mind-boggling to me is that Sean Tosh hadn't scored more than once in this season. Coming into this campaign, he's nearly at double figures.
It seems like every single season, Lou City find a way to have one of those players kind of step out. You know, I mentioned this year there's no Lancaster. A couple of guys have done it. Tosh, the namesake, it was Del Piccolo last year.
Perez in behind, misses the target, wouldn't have counted. Flag is up as Harris tried to get an assist on top of his goal tonight.
Last year, Paolo Del Piccolo coming into the season. You know, he was 29 years of age then and approaching his 30th birthday. There were some rumors after the 19 final that was against the Monarchs, you know, whether or not that he was going to continue on, not with the club, just in general. And what does he do? He had never had more than 3 in a single season. That was in 2018. He grabbed 9.
Chance there for Jorge Gonzalez. Deflected on the way through Zamudio. One of the best at saving shots like that in the championship this season. Comes up with it.
9 goals from really the guy in the 18 season who was part of the triumvirate that helped steer this team in their time of need. James O'Connor, their manager at that point in time, going to Orlando City. That was prior to the acquisition of John Hackworth. So it's him, George Davis IV, and Luke Spencer ran the training sessions, and he just played the 6, connected the dots. A year later, 2 years later, excuse me, grabs 9. Now it's Sean Tosh. Brian Ownby, of course, has set himself career numbers over the past 2 years with both goals and assists. Again, they're not reinventing themselves. They're just finding a more efficient and impressive way as individuals and as a collective.
Ball in from Green, who tried to sweep it across the face of goal. In the end, Loudoun couldn't create anything from that, but they win it back high up the field. Shot is blocked on the way through from Landry. Morton, a little frustrated, comes over and is able to collect it. Racing Louisville FC is back at home at Lynn Family Stadium for their final game of the regular season on Saturday, October 1st. Be there as they take on Kansas City Current at 7:30 p.m. Racing Louisville FC 2023 season tickets are on sale now at racingloufc.com/tickets. How good has Manny Perez been on this near side tonight? Far side in the first half. Lou City were going the opposite way on the pitch. Along with Ownby, they've been very difficult to deal with for Ryan Martin's Loudoun United. Last meeting between these two, you got to go back to April 10th. Lou City won at Loudoun by 2-0. Harris and Ownby on the score sheet. We talked about the nearly unbeaten record for Lou City at home this season. Their goal differential at home is also remarkable, plus 22 this season.
That's a high score.
It's tremendous. That's why Lynn Family Stadium has really been a fortress his last seasons of existence, of course. Ownby to Perez. Tyler Gibson in the midfield. Perez again, seemingly having a little bit less space to work with at times than he did in the first half. Out wide from Dia. Musha Galusa will take on all comers, although two of them are a little bit trickier. Tosh. Perez is forced back. Probing run by Bone. Diarra pokes it away from Dia. Winder on the cover. Well, Devin, I got another goal update. Atlanta United 2 have equalized.
Of course they have.
Against Miami. 2 each. Coach Pulis's bunch still have work to do if they want to clinch a playoff spot tonight. And it gets from bad to worse for Vegas. Hartford now lead 3-0 with 6 minutes of the 90 left in Connecticut.
The 2022 season knows no boundaries. I promise you, seriously. It's just, at this point in time, grab onto something, because the hurricane that has been the entire season is just starting to intensify.
We're not even in October. Harris dispossessed.
We don't need to be. You know, I'll give you a little bit of a precursor of what is to be tomorrow. For the halftime content of Orange County and Sacramento Republic. And I was talking to our producer, Sharni Yerke, and of course, Mike Watts, play-by-play, and we were discussing what topics we wanted to go after. And we thought it would be a great idea to look at some marquee games and really the final 5 to 6 weeks of the season. Producer says, okay, pick 5. So I run through, I pick them out, I email them to her. She calls me. She says, hey, I have a question about the last one. Is this correct? And the last one, October 15th, it was just everybody.
Love it.
Every single game that's available on the schedule, because how can you not watch it? It's the first time that I can remember, really in league history, that coming down to the final day, you've got so many teams who have something to play for. And with all due respect, I'm not talking about a 6-7 finish. I'm talking about playoff lives. The ability to dance or go home and spend the rest of the offseason watching.
Ownby sliding it through. Bone dispossessed. Good cover by Jalen Robinson, and it needed to be for Loudoun. Especially in the West, Devin, it's just unheard of that every team, just talking about tonight, coming into the night, has a chance to get in, and still only one team is clinched a playoff spot. And San Antonio happened to have the best mark in the league. Ball over the top, looking for Ownby, and it trickles out of play. Let's take a look at tonight's nugget of the match, presented by Chick-fil-A. Lou City newcomer forward Wilson Harris, of course, no stranger to scoring goals. America Pro Soccer's top scoring teenager in 2019. Wilson Harris, we talked about his performance here against Lou City for Sporting KC2 at the time, scored the winning goal. It's the last time an MLS affiliate has won here in Louisville, and he's having a tremendous campaign for the boys in purple this season on top of all of that. And has a goal tonight off that free kick in the first half in the 20th minute.
Well, remember that the following season, he had 8 goals in 16 matches, and actually eclipsed the 20 career goal mark for Sporting Kansas City 2. It was actually the 3rd consecutive Sporting Kansas City Academy product to be selected as a finalist for the USL Championship Young Player of the Year, following Juan Cusain and Felipe Hernandez, the 2 midfielders who created for him and he took down the title in 2020, that abbreviated season.
Harris is in the middle looking for another. Downs crucially gets to it first. And it's out for a Lou City corner after the good run, I should say, from Amadou Dia. We'll take another look.
You've seen this look before. There's the step off the back line. This time it comes from Winder, who, look at his advanced position. This is something that has really come leaps and bounds within the youngsters' games. It's that confidence. He's got a great left foot to play off the back line, but to have the confidence to go beat that first press and then drag players with you and knock it down into the corner, impressive.
Ball is going to curl out of play from Gonzalez on the Wi-Fi corner. Goes out for a Loudoun goal kick. Does look like Lou City are getting ready to make a couple of substitutions. Paolo Del Piccolo is getting ready to come on, along with Ray Serrano. And it looks like Wilson Harris and Enoch Mushagalusa are going to be the two that make way after a strong hour shift. Both substitutions brought to you by MHS Global. Harris came off for that first change, and there's the confirmation of the Mushagalusa part of the double transaction, or change I really should say, with half an hour still to go. Ray Serrano's been a player that Danny Cruz has been really happy with in recent weeks of the season as well, the way he's contributed to the group. And we know how important Paolo Del Piccolo has been in years past and this season for Lou City as well. Bit of a twisting and turning move there, leads to a Loudoun free kick. Loudoun still trying to fight their way back into this game. Good ball to find Diarra, who scores. It's a goal. Zoumana Diarra gives Loudoun United hope with just under half an hour to play. Ryan Martin's group had a mountain to climb with a few minutes left in the first half. They've reached a checkpoint on that mountain from 3-0 down. It's 3-2.
It's miscommunication, Sean, within the subs is the problem, because they don't immediately catch up to the level and speed of play. So as quickly as the ball comes through the middle, watch how fast it's released. That's a great ball by Cudi Pietro. The separation, he recognizes the tiny window that's available between Josh Winder and the advanced role of Amadou Dia. They're both very high, so there's space in behind, but the 5-yard gap that Cudi Pietro has to place this thing through is the entire reason that they're able to grab one back and close the gap.
What a finish from Diarra in transition. It's his first USL Championship goal of the season. And from 3-0 down, Loudoun are right back in it. At Lynn Family, no less. This one's touched into the path of Ownby. Lou City have numbers here. Gonzalez, Serrano, Del Piccolo blocked off the 6-yard line. Loudoun still have trouble clearing it. And they get a throw-in out of it. Patient play defensively on this near side. I think that was Zane on the cover. Green comes forward to take the throw. It almost feels like a little bit of a sense of shock here in Louisville. This game is completely changed. Ken Loudoun sees the moment. we talked about Ryan Martin's group and the way they've been able to face adversity. Well, here they get a big save, but the rebound is in. Well, I was just gonna say how Loudoun have been able to cope, but you can't cope with Lou City for long. Brian Ownby right there for the rescue act. Lou City reestablished their 2-goal lead just as quickly as they've lost it, and they lead 4-2.
You needed a response, as the second half has not been very kind to Lou City. The gaps, the bounces, everything has gone the way of the visitors. But once again, look at the ball. Manny Perez, just put it in a dangerous area and let him run onto it. And Lady Luck does shine bright here. Brian Ownby, as he bumps up into the 9, it's all about speed. Get him in behind the back line, let him get into one-on-one situations. Ball out in front, running downhill, challenging the goalkeeper and the back 4. He does all of it in one fell swoop to add to his goal tally.
9 goals this season now for Brian Ownby. Couldn't have timed that one up any better, just when it looked like, I should say, that Loudoun were about to get back into it in a real way. Brian Ownby reestablishes Lou City's dominance.
Just to go back to it, Sean, you talked about Sean Tosh never having more than 1 in a season, right? Brian Ownby had 11 in the previous 4 seasons combined, and he's got 9 in 1 single calendar year. That's the difference for Lou City up top. I loved the response that we got out of Loudoun. A ton of speed. Ryan Martin made the changes. He's challenging. We told you they were never going to back down. It's a consistency factor. They slip up once again. And how much fight is left with 25 minutes to go?
Ryan Martin made another change. Azad Liati came on for Carson Vom Steeg just a moment ago. Another MHS Global change. Kentucky Lottery goal from Brian Ownby makes it again a 2-goal hill to climb for Loudoun. Still 25 minutes left, but that was a big chance for Loudoun when they got back within 1. As quickly as they did that, they fell back behind by 2.
Just keep an eye here. If what they do sometimes down with about 30 minutes to go is they'll give you much more of a hybrid look on the back line. It's a 4-2-3-1, and they drop into a 3, yes, but when they do this and bring Leotti on, he is an attacker, out and out. Expect him to be the highest point of confrontation up top with Fletcher underneath. But what do you do with that man right there, Zane? A lot of times that he'll come deep out in. He'll play like this left back type spot that they'll let him wander. So he can end up in these little positions on the right-hand flank. He can drop in off the left. The good news is, if you've still got great ball carriers and guys like Nicky Downs on the back line who can slow the game down in terms of the defensive shape, win your 50-50 battles and let the young talent and speed go to work on the opposite end.
5th third banked free kick for Lou City. Serrano and Dia over this. Two players in the wall for Loudoun. Dia whipping it in, nearly on the head of Gonzalez. Ownby tried to chip it back in. It was blocked on the edge of the penalty area, and Simonson tries to get Cudi Pietro off and running for the visitors. In the end, it goes all the way back to Nicky Downs, who tries to recycle it. Zane floating it down this near side. It's headed into the path of Azad Liati, formerly of South Georgia Tormenta and USL League One. And he's hacked down for a free kick. Del Piccolo concedes the set piece. It's a set piece opportunity for Ryan Martin's group. Cudi Pietro stands over it for Loudoun. Pietro chips it in, headed towards goal in the end, and Kyle Morton has it. Had the right idea, including Pietro, but couldn't find anyone in white to really redirect it. Joella's Hot Chicken is serving up just the right amount of spice with their Lou City Slider Pack. $5 from every pack sold will be donated towards the Lou City and Racing Louisville Youth Academy. With 7 heat levels to choose from, Joella's Hot Chicken isn't just about heat, it's about flavor. Uliati into the back of Tosh. Uliati had just come on as a substitute. Gets a warning, not a caution.
I don't mind it though from the referee because of his entrance. Just in the past couple of minutes, there's a challenge for sure. It is a foul. No need at this point in the game, 70 minutes in, first infraction, to brandish a card in that situation. Just remind him, listen, tone it down a little bit. You've just gotten here. A lot more has gone on prior to you stepping onto this pitch.
Ball's headed into the path of Ownby, who keeps it away from Downs. Can't keep it away from Green. Your dream home is waiting for you at Fisher Homes. Discover a variety of floor plan styles and watch your design come to life. Visit FisherHomes.com to get started today. It's been a game that's been right in the mold of what this season has been in this USL Championship campaign. Lou City were up 3-0. The latter stages of the first half, Loudoun scored on either side of halftime to get it to 3-2. Brian Ownby was able to come back with another. Perez looking to find Ownby again. Made a good run into the middle. Loudoun defend it. It's out for a throw to Lou City. Perez trying to feed it through to Del Piccolo. Gibson wins it back. It's kept alive by Fletcher, and Loudoun can clear it. Only as far as Joshua Winder. I know you were keeping an eye, Devin, on the score in San Antonio. No score yet between San Antonio FC and New Mexico. 0-0, 26 minutes in. Full time in Hartford. Hartford Athletic beat Vegas by 3-0. That's a big opportunity
for them.
Some teams later on tonight to make up some ground on Vegas. Miami 2, Atlanta United 2.
That's an opportunity lost. And you just sort of wonder in terms of seeding. Remember, the structure different for the playoffs this season. The #1 overall in each conference getting a bye, and the other 6 doing battle. So that's the difference of playing Memphis or the Rowdies at this point in time.
Good ball in from Ownby, and it was just touched behind Gonzalez. What a chance to reestablish the 3-goal lead. Ball's floated back in and over the top again of Gonzalez for Zamudio. More good work from Louisville City. Lou City come again with Bone. Wonderful ball. It was the right idea for Serrano. Well read by Zamudio.
Once again, you work outside in, and as the ball gets down into the corner, this is Zamudio. Smart, the confidence to come off his line. The tiniest touch, just the tip, just to see if he can get a little deflection to come off of it, pushes it out of the way of the late trailing run.
Lou City continue to knock on the door for a 5th here. Serrano from Ownby. Ray Serrano, Zamudio saves. Serrano again. It goes wide of the goal and out for a goal kick.
You talked about Ray Serrano when he came on, and one of the things that they've really been looking for out of him is the attacking prowess. He's been really good coming down into the midfield and combining with the runs that are coming forward, getting involved in the attack, but can you do it alone? Can you be the guy when you don't have any support and have the ability to go challenge in those tight-knit situations? He's been much better over the past 4 or 5 games.
Devin, I've got 2 more score updates for you.
Bring it.
RGV 1, Switchbacks 0. That's a huge game for the Toros, and Brendan Burke's group have a chance to clinch a spot in the playoffs tonight with a win. Still 0-0 between Detroit and Tampa Bay as Lou City look for a 5th again. Serrano's ball into the middle, just ricocheted out of the way of Bone, and then Gonzalez couldn't get on the end of it before Green clears it. Keep an eye on all of those games. Big games later tonight. San Diego, Phoenix, Oakland. Need to win against Red Bulls 2, Monterey Bay, and Indy 11. All big ones later on tonight on ESPN+, so stay with us.
Tasty, right?
Almost as tasty as Joella's hot chicken.
Oh.
Almost.
Miss me some Joella's hot chicken. I got the chicken head when I was there. I'm applying for the full suit next time I'm in town. Heads up, by the way, I got to talk to Joella's hot chicken. I got to make a quick stop there next week for a college game. Maybe we can work that into the repertoire. Oh, I went for the hottest sauce they had, and I survived. You know?
Not bad.
Put it on the wall of fame once again. Just chalk it up. Another notch on the belt.
Very nice.
They did have some good banana pudding, too.
All across from Perez. Ooh, a little bit of miscommunication there, but Zamudio gets on top of it with Ownby lurking once again.
You a spicy guy?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Gotta be, right? Like, how can you say no to spice?
Oh, you can't.
Right? You don't say no to love.
That's right.
It's the same thing.
It is. Synonyms.
It's a tryst either way you look at it.
That's right. Can't go wrong. And looks like that last sequence is going to be Brian Ownby's last of the evening, although there is a Lou City player down here. We were told that Napo Masoso was going to come on and take Brian Ownby's place. He is ready to go. But for the moment, the concern is with Joshua Winder, who is being attended to here by the Lou City medical staff.
It's just one arm out from behind, looks to be. Just trailing arm right here. Hurts a lot worse than it looks usually. Promise you that much.
Here comes the change. Masoso comes on for Brian Ownby. MHS Global substitution. Another good shift from Brian Ownby.
Well, I told you that he only had 11 goals in the past 4 seasons. He's added 9 to his name tonight. That is a career high. Coming into last season, he had only had 12 assists in the previous 3. Well, guess what? He had 11 last year. He set career marks at the age of 31 and 32. Brian Ownby, a gentleman and a scholar. Again, there are just so many different weapons within this team, each of them playing their part.
Looks like Simonson has been taken off for Loudoun. Gavin Turner comes on for the visitors. MHS Global substitution there for Ryan Martin. He nearly got a chance from his group there as Kyle Morton dwelled on that inside of his own penalty area. This game is still there for Loudoun to get back into it. Lou City have been pushing for that killer 5th goal that would certainly put this issue to bed, but if Loudoun can get another, we're back where we were about 10-15 minutes ago with a 1-goal game, and anything could happen from there, especially this season.
Well, I was just to say, be careful what you wish for, Sean. Because of the speed that's on the field, you come high and you continue with the pressure. You get the press wrong real quick, it opens up and allows these youngsters to continue to show us what they're capable of. The technical ability never going to be in question. It's can you combine that with the speed against the quality that is the back line with guys like Josh Winder, who compares in age to a lot of the Loudoun players, but also Sean Tosh, right? You put the 2 and 2 together, usually pretty even-keeled. There have been some kinks in the armor tonight, though, and I would say that the intensity level much higher here in the second half. Regardless of tactics that were at play in the first, you got to want it, and they are certainly chasing the game with emotion here in the second 45.
Fans head to Twitter to vote for tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/LouCityFC. Is that a foul? Yes, it was. Substitute Zane gives away a free kick for Lou City. If Lou City holds on, put them on 63 points. That's the second most they've ever had in a season. As we highlighted in our open, the 2018 Lou City side with 66 are the record holders. They won the title that year as a part of back-to-back USL Championship crowns. Fifth Third Bank free kick here for Danny Cruz's group. Dia will take it. Good, dangerous ball in. Del Piccolo just over the top as Zamudio made sure. And there's 10 minutes left, at least of the 90.
And Sean, within those numbers, I was still blown away when we talked about it earlier this season. The #1 goal set by the team was to be the #1 overall seed. And that's not what I was taken back by. It was the fact that they had never done it. But when you go back and look at who has held that stature, it's been some pretty historic teams that have come through the league, right? You look at, the title-winning teams of 17 and 18 from Lou City. Well, that 2017 season, they were #1 in the East. Real Monarchs blew it up in the Western Conference. They were awesome. That was a Mark Briggs coach team who set a ton of offensive records. 2018, when Lou City went back-to-back, that was the FC Cincinnati team that was just ridiculous all over the field. Manu Ledesma, Kenny Walker, Evan Newton was in goal. Every single year, it's been a team that has superseded them overall. They want to be that team. They want to be one that goes down into the record books, not just to gain the #1 overall, but to take down the overall title, because that's been something in the modern era that's been very difficult to do and hasn't been done since we saw it back-to-back in 2015 and 16 by the Rhinos and New York Red Bull 2, which of course Lou City fell to both on the way to those titles.
Loudoun had that substitution brought to you by MHS Global. Jonathan Benteke came on for Huso Landry. Lou City get on the attack. Ooh, it was a decent effort. Tough technique to get down there from Jorge Gonzalez. And it goes over and out. Baptist Health Louisville provides nationally recognized orthopedic care locally. Learn more about how their high-performing hospital ranking in knee replacement from U.S. News and World Report at baptisthealth.com/ortho. Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr here with you. Lou City were 3-0 up at one point. Loudoun have shown their resolve yet again in a spoiler role, but despite getting it back to 3-2, Brian Ownby's goal to make it 4-2 has reestablished Danny Cruz's team's dominance in this second half. And now they're trying to see it out. Another score update, Devin. Detroit City have taken the lead against Tampa Bay Rowdies. With 8 minutes left in that game, it's 1-0 to Detroit City.
They're picking it up at the right time. I'm never surprised when they do it at home, but the fact that they just did it recently on the road. They went to Colorado Springs, got the 2-1 result. They've rattled off a couple in a row now. They don't really drop a ton of points, but I wanted to see them go on the road and do it at altitude at Colorado Springs to do it and now back it up, especially with the Rowdies coming off the loss against the Charleston Battery. They were going to be hungry within that match.
Five-fight corner here. Masoso gets space for the shot. With his off left, it's blocked. Chance for Fletcher to lead the break for Loudoun United. And again, this is where we talked about visitors could be dangerous. Benteke. Cudi Pietro started the comeback at the end of the first half. Diarra, who's also scored tonight, placed it across the face of goal. Tosh is there defensively. Masoso flicks it out of trouble for Dia. And Dia gives it back to Zane. 6 minutes of the 90 still to play. It's a bit of deflection on the way through. Loudoun have a throw. Lou City have a sub. Looks like Oscar Jimenez is going to come on. Jorge Gonzalez makes way. See the other Winder as well, Elijah Winder, is going to come on, and a good night for Manny Perez comes to a close. 2 more MHS Global changes.
This is the one area for Lou City that outside of that full 90 minutes you'd like from your starting group, which you always know there's going to be changes down the stretch. I want to see more out of the subs coming off the bench. They've stumbled a little bit, and it's really hard, Sean, when you come into a game that's in doubt, where the intensity is up and down. You know, the score has really made some question marks around the pitch, to come in and really get up to speed immediately. But that's what you get paid to do. It's a professional level. You don't have the luxury of saying, oh, well, you know, I hadn't started the game or I wasn't ready. You've got to be able to come in with 5 minutes to go, be warm, be ready, and make an immediate impact. The bench just hasn't been at that level recently.
Lou City closing in on what would be their 11th win at home this season. Serrano trying to cross it into the penalty area, too far in the end for Napo Masoso, and it goes out of play. And only Monterey Bay has come here and won this season, and many big teams have come to Louisville, Kentucky this year. Foul and a free kick for Loudoun. Liotti and company want to take it quickly, and they do. Well, it was sent over the top in the end, not accurate enough to get to Fletcher. Too close to Morton. Serrano, beautiful. Couldn't quite slide it to the overlapping run. Ball flared forward nicely into the path of Christian Fletcher. Loudoun looking to get another one back here and make it interesting, but Fletcher overruns it. And then a frustration foul on top of it. Allows Lou City to alleviate the brief spell of Loudoun pressure.
Hey, you got it?
Flicked on for Serrano. And another foul and a free kick in the middle of the park. That's a yellow card for the substitute Liotti. He got his warning earlier. This time he's cautioned for that challenge. We'll get another look at that Liotti challenge.
Youthful exuberance or warranted. Either way, it's frustration. They're showing you, though, why they're so highly regarded within the organization from a talent perspective. It just took them a while to show up. You can't sleep for 40 minutes and then all of a sudden say, all right, now we're going to play. Love the changes that were made within the squad. Certainly been A higher level of thought process here in the second half for Loudoun. Decision making quicker. You know, a lot of times, Sean, I'll have conversations with fans or people behind the scenes, and they're like, well, what changed? It's not like there's a groundbreaking moment where there's a new tactic at play, or the squad has changed, there's new personnel. Sometimes it's real simple. You just play better, right? You know the writing is on the wall on how Lou City's going to line up or what Loudoun's going to bring to the table, and they just show you what they're capable of. You bring 90 minutes, you're probably looking at a team that could compete regularly at the top of the Eastern Conference. We're just not there.
World of Beer on the Liati yellow card. Takes a deflection. Out for a corner. That's right where Lou City wanted. Jimenez and company will be in no hurry to take it as we approach second half stoppage time. Short to Serrano. The Wi-Fi corner, it's played centrally to Bone. Masoso. Can Lou City polish it off? Serrano. Pietro is there. Three added minutes still to play. Brought to you by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Substitute Turner. Not able to find his fellow substitute Christian Fletcher. Times tonight, Ryan Martin's group have been up for the challenge, but for the most part, vast majority of the game, Lou City have been dominant. Del Piccolo through to Serrano. Serrano to settle it. Zamudio saves. Serrano keeps it in. Jimenez is there to help. Gibson. Jimenez through Del Piccolo, leaves it for Bone, gets it back to Del Piccolo. Amadou Dia into the middle! Headed wide of the goal by Elijah Winder. Now Cudi Pietro comes out with it for Loudoun. He's brought down, referee plays advantage for the visitors. Liati out wide. There's a foul away from the play. Center referee, I think, missed that. Serrano was involved with Cudi Pietro.
Keep an eye here. Watch the back pocket. Watch the back pocket.
It's red. It's red. Ray Serrano sent off in stoppage time for a play off the ball. There's a yellow card for Cudi Pietro as well, who I think was on the receiving end.
What you have to understand here is that regardless of the amount of contact that actually occurs, it's the motion, it's the location, and it's right in front of everyone to see. I can tell you right now, Serrano connects. He does, and he does it with his hand away from the body. Watch. There's not a ton, but here's the thing about it. You can't take your hand, you can't put it on someone's face, you can't push them, and you certainly cannot do it in the entire motion in front of the referee. If I'm a player, I'm upset and frustrated too. But this is really that simple. Don't put yourself in that situation. Do not put your hands on another player's face, and you won't be walking down the tunnel in this situation.
The yellow and the red card for Cudi Pietro and Serrano respectively, brought to you by World of Beer. There was that foul also that allowed Loudoun to have some advantage there as well. I guess Cudi Pietro maybe was booked for instigating the situation. But Lou City are down to 10 for the last minute and change as Liati is brought down. Referee sees nothing wrong with that, and we play on. We've had the 3, but there's surely a little bit time to be added on after that. Nope, but not much. Although for the time being, flag is up for offside on that Loudoun attack.
Something to think about, Sean, as we get towards the tail end of this season. There are learning moments for every player. Now, that can be on the attacking side of things where, wow, this is a really good build, that's a good run, excellent finish. It's the distribution. Where does the movement come from? Feeling more comfortable on the inside. But over the past month, for this team, it has been about discipline. And I go back to being on the road. August 20th, that was a difficult game. Wilson Harris gets the red card. Now all of a sudden, Ray Serrano gets a red card. It tarnishes the performance tonight just a bit. But Lou City, they had a job to do. Lou City's goal, make no mistake about it, is the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship. 3 points back coming into the night. 1 game in hand for San Antonio. They have closed the gap to 1. San Antonio currently doing battle with New Mexico United, but job well done. Gap of 5 atop the Eastern Conference. 1 for the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship.
Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match goes to Brian Ownby, who ends up scoring the goal that settled it in the end to give Lou City a 4-2 victory. It did sour a little bit at the end, but the fortress remains intact here at Lynn Family Stadium this season. Big goal for Sean Tosh as well. He got the penalty conversion, his 9th of the season, most ever by a USL Championship defender in a single season. And now we can take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. It was Brian Ownby winning the penalty, and it was Sean Tosh converting that said penalty.
The foul turns to fortune. Sean Tosh, 9. Previous record, 8. Only 1 in any of the seasons that he's ever played, whether for the Raging Rhinos of Rochester, of course, the familiar face that has donned the jersey for Lou City over the past couple of seasons. Heck of a mark. Quality result for Lou City. Job done, 3 points. And once again, everybody else chasing the 2-time champion.
Well, we expected Loudoun to challenge Lou City. They definitely did that, especially around the halftime mark. But in the end, Lou City holds their nerve on their home patch to win it by 4-2. We'll wrap it all up next from Louisville, Kentucky.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
This is the legendary Toyota 4Runner.
For 40 years, this bad boy's been dealing with the off-road like nobody else.
4Runner's one of 15 different all-wheel drive vehicles from Toyota,
Including this favorite of mine, the best-selling Toyota Tacoma.
The Tacoma is all about off-road adventure.
Yeah, it's got multi-terrain select, crawl control, electronic locking rear differential. It has it all.
So whatever you get us into, Tacoma can get us out of.
And we'll have a lot of fun doing it.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to U of L Health Heart Hospital, an exciting chapter in the Jewish hospital story. If these walls could talk, you would hear stories of over 40 medical firsts. As the area's only heart hospital, we focus on comprehensive heart care, where academic research pioneers innovative treatments, and a world-class network of experts offers life-changing care. Here, your heart is in the right place.
This postgame is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr back here with you. A happy Danny Cruz celebrating with the family and the fans here at Lynn Family Stadium as Lou City beats Loudoun by 4-2. Let's take a look at tonight's game summary presented by Liquid Barn, and it was Lou City, Devin, getting off to a very fast start.
We've seen records all over the place, and Mushagalusa has really made a name for himself over the last 5 games. 3 goals and an assist. They got it started early. It's a beautiful run. The sequence itself, it's everything you ask for from the training ground. Brian Ownby waits for the overlap. The cutback by Perez. You got the initial run by Harris on the front post. Mushagalusa finishes it off. I love the little touch, by the way, to get it around the wall. The touch stop hit is something that's old school English nature. It moves it around the outside of the wall, gives you a better look. Harris goes low. He adds his 12th of the season, double digits from a Lou City striker once again. Brian Ownby on the cutback. Enough contact from Jacob Green. Certainly enough from Shantosh. 5th from the spot on the year, 9th on the season, most all-time for USL Championship defender, and what was a magnificent first half. But, yeah, there's one little gray area that's going to leave a black mark. Of course, it's Cuti Pietro, the #1 talent for Loudoun, per Ryan Martin, grabs his first goal of the season on loan from DC United. Then we're off to the races. Just like that, coming out of the gates in the second half, it's 3-2. Everybody in Lynn Family Stadium stunned, but there's work to be done. Sean Tosh and Josh Winder, how good are they coming off the back line, applying pressure? And then this guy right here, I said Kyle Morton for Lou City is the biggest pickup in the offseason and the USL Championship. I maintain that. But within Lou City itself, it's got to be Manny Perez, and his ability to really pick poison anywhere he wants sets it up. Ownby adds to his personal tally and a record career year, 9 goals to his name. Ray Serrano, who had been impressive, although there's not a ton here, it's enough. Can't put your hands away from the body. Can't do that. No way, no how. See ya.
Let's take a look at tonight's River City Flooring full-time match stats and just take a look at shots and shots on target, and you'll see the dominance that Lou City showed tonight.
Denny is still going to walk in the room, though. Denny Cruz, head coach of Lou City, and he's going to say, great butt, okay? You guys were great to start the game, but right before half, we should have done this. You guys adjusted in the second half, but you started too slow. You guys finished the game off, but we gave up a red card. All these little things amount to mistakes that you cannot show any hand whatsoever come postseason time, and that's Danny Cruz's biggest fear. You saw what Loudoun United's capable of. You take a team like the Rowdies, like Detroit, like 901 FC. Anybody is going to see the little things that they were able to do in a 20 to 30 minute window and amplify it to find a way to break down the great team that is Lou City in the Eastern Conference. It's still a better performance from Lou City, lacking overall, but headed in the right direction.
And in the end, Lou City get all 3 points that they needed to clinch it tonight. Tonight's final score brought to you by Gorski Law Office, with Lou City coming out on the winning end, I should say, by 4 goals to 2. Enoch Mushagalusa, Wilson Harris, Brian Ownby, and Sean Tosh all on the score sheet in another Lou City win. For Devin Kerr and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Louisville, Kentucky. Lou City continues their pursuit of the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.